Sorry, I didn't get a chance to look at your exhibits yet, but my name is Brian Jack Holder. I'm from Council Bluffs, Iowa, and I once was as small as you all are. So my dad was a school teacher and a high school guidance counselor and a principal. So I grew up with a lot of discipline in my household, and I didn't mess up at school because my dad would find out about it immediately. So I'm almost 44 years old. I got involved in politics a little less than 3 years ago. So I started out just as an activist. I went to a few rallies just over certain issues like taxation and gun control. But I did that for about 7 or 8 months, and then our congressman that we had back in 2014, he decided to retire. And there were 6 gentlemen that decided to run to fill his place on the Republican ticket. So I didn't get enough signatures to get on the ballot to run in the Republican primary, but I ran as an independent for Congress 2 years ago. And I've always been a libertarian-minded person. And libertarianism, some of you may know about it, some may not, but basically it's the philosophy of liberty. And it's got 2 basic components, and the first one is self-ownership, that we own ourselves, but we are also legally and morally responsible for all of our actions. And the second principle is the non-aggression principle. So we believe that it is morally wrong to initiate force against another. It is wrong to engage in coercion or to use fraud as a means to an end. So it's sort of the live and let live philosophy. I tried working within the Republican Party for a couple of years for liberty, but you know, there's what people call the political establishment. And the establishment is in both major political parties. And they sort of work hand in glove, they work together. They may engage in pretty heated arguments when they're on TV and stuff, as you see from the presidential debates. But when it all boils down to it, the 2 major parties, their main concern is maintaining control and power over all of us. So America was founded, the founders warned us against political parties because they knew at some point that the parties would consume all of the power in the country, and that's not good for our liberty. So when I decided to run for Congress 2 years ago, and I hope some of you have a chance to study the Constitution, but this country was founded on the principle that taxation without representation is tyranny. And that's why the founders fought against the king for their liberty. Now, I'm running for the U.S. House of Representatives, and there's 435 districts throughout the entire country. And there's 320 million of us. So there's only a little over 400 people that are making decisions that affect the lives of 320 million Americans. Now, Congress capped the size of the House in 1911, and they have not given us any more seats in the U.S. House of Representatives. Yet the population of America has tripled in the last 100 years. So there's one amendment from the founding of this country that has never been ratified, and it would limit our congressional districts to 50,000 people. So that's one of the main things I'm advocating. Now, Congress can't ratify this because they already sent it to the states for ratification. But if 27 additional state legislatures, like the legislature up there on Capitol Hill, ratify this, it'll take this large congressional district that I live in and you live in that has 500,000 people in it, and it would break it into 10 little pieces. So that way the districts are small enough that any one of you can decide to run for office. I put on this hat a couple years ago just as a sign of sort of to protest and to wake people up to the issues that are going on in this country. And I wear my own t-shirt. There's only one of these in the world. I spent less than $200 to run for Congress 2 years ago, and I've spent about $500 this year. So I don't ask for people's money. I don't ask for their vote, but I do have to ask for signatures to get on the ballot. So I stood in front of the Pottawatomie County Courthouse during the month of July and got 450 signatures dressed like this. So obviously people want something different. They want to hear new voices and new viewpoints. And I hope that someday, if you guys decide to get involved in politics, it doesn't have to be an adversarial type endeavor. You can do this and you can work together. It's all about building consensus, and if you're a leader, you want to be a facilitative leader. You'd never want to discount someone else's viewpoint. So you always want to give people time to talk, and you definitely want to listen to their concerns. Thank you.